The following is a Hoop Ball presentation. Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
I actually had a take of today's episode where I opened up singing a little Sinatra. And now the end is near. We wiped that one out because it was awful. My singing voice is not what it used to be. And when I say what it used to be, I mean roughly 25 years ago, around my bar mitzvah. I could sing. Oh, I was a crooner then, man. And then puberty and all that stuff. But we are done. The end is not near. The end is here. The 2018-2019 NBA season has come to a close. I hope everybody had massive amounts of success and fun. I know I did. Despite the intense levels of stress that came with my head-to-head playoffs because, you know, put a decent chunk of money on the line, start to get a little bit freaked out about it. Pretty good results over on this end. I'm going to go with satisfied but lusting for more. I am Dan Besbris. You guys know that. If you're listening to the show after the last day of the regular season, you already know what you're listening to. This is Fantasy NBA Today, a hoop ball presentation brought to you as always by our good friends at Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. They will get a big shout out later on in today's episode. This is a very short one. This will be about a 15-minute show, if that. If we hit 15 minutes, this is the thank you episode. This is the show where we take a moment at the end of the season to thank everybody, everything and everybody that contributed to this show in any way, shape, or form. It's also kind of, looking back with a wistful eye at a year gone by, successes, failures, all that good stuff. We're going to pick apart everything over the next few months, so fear not. We'll get into plenty of that. That's not what today's episode is about. This is all emotional stuff on today's show. So this is the thank yous. And I've got a laundry list of them. I don't know what the best way to do it is. I thought about it before the show. I thought, should I, try to go through everybody's name and everything? And there's no rhyme or reason to it. So first thing is, thank you to everybody that was in a league with me. I don't even think you get a shout out on today's show. It was a lot of fun. The competition was fierce. Literally every year, it gets harder and harder to be successful in leagues. I think on the whole, I surround myself with people that also care about fantasy sports, but just a great year. You guys know I'm in 4 medium money leagues. I call it medium money. Everybody has a different definition of what low money, medium money, or big money is, but I think we can all probably agree that anything under $100 is probably a low money league, right? We can probably agree on that. It's like a $50 league. That's not. You put $50 on the line for 6 months. That's, even for those of us who are making a broadcaster's salary, such as myself, that's not very much. Anything between, 100 and like 3, 4, whatever, 100, that's probably in the medium money range, right? You could go a little higher than that if you're feeling saucy. And anything over that, where you've got like multiple thousands of dollars on the line at the end of the year, that's a big money league. I don't care how wealthy you are. There are leagues out there where people are playing for like 20 grand. That's crazy stuff. My brain would explode. Anyway, so I have 4 money leagues that I care about a lot, and they went relatively well. There's only one of the 4 where I didn't take home some amount of cash. There was a first place in there, there was a second place in there, and there was a third in a keeper league where I won the previous season, so I feel pretty good about the fact that I made it back into the money. I hope that everything that we were able to do on this year's show put you guys net positive at the end of the year. That's all I really hope for. If you end the season, and obviously for me, when I look at this stuff, the one league where I didn't win money, I was actually in second place, and I just got wiped out by a bad playoff schedule. And, I wanted more. I wanted more in that one, I'll admit. I wanted to take home money in all 4, and I would have liked to take home a little more in the one where I took third place. But overall, I feel like it was a pretty good success. It was enough winnings coming in this year to replace my defunct laptop where the charging port literally came apart from the motherboard. The hard drive never stopped spinning. so I can't do anything with it, and it's only like 3 years old. I'm so upset. It's a waste. I'm going to throw it through a window. Or if you guys want, you can give me $20, and then you can throw it through a window. What a hunk of garbage. Screw you, Asus laptop. I had a Dell Inspiron 700M that I got back in 2004 that lasted a dozen years, and this one made it 3. Garbage. Garbage. Hang out with Oscar the Grouch. You junk laptop. So thank you to everybody that was in the leagues. Thanks to those that made it fun. Thank you to all of our guests here on Fantasy NBA Today. And there have been so many this season. And I'm going to do my best. There's a likelihood that I might miss somebody in there, but I'm going to try to knock out all of them here over the next 90 seconds. We're going lightning style on this one. On the fantasy basketball realm, I believe we had Ethan Noroff, the Welsh, Bogman, Josh Lloyd, Matt Smith, Kyle McCune, Russ Peddle. I think we had the Kleiss brothers, or not brothers, the Kleiss parents, Mark Roberts, Jonas Nader, Seth Klein, of course, Alex Rickleen. I think those are the fantasy guys we had on this year. From the team side of things, Dylan Jackson, Paul Stino, Eustachio Raleigh, Quentin Alberti, Tyler Watts, Harrison Wynn, Duncan Smith was not on this year. He was on last year, actually, because he moved from the Pistons, and now he's covering the Heat. Michael Knight, Tom Lewis, Harrison Fagan, Anthony Irwin, Mike Trudell, Philip Dean, Eric Goldman, Mike Pellichet, Chris Eisman, Philip Rossman-Reich, Lucas Johnson, Adam Maines, Ryan Buchanan, the great Vince Miracle, Joe Garcia, Alex Grez, Mike Bassetti, Ben Vasconcelos, and then our good friends coming from the general world. We had Steve Manali on the show, artist, Benny Aziz, and I think... Is that all of them? That might be all of them. I might have knocked them all out. If I missed anybody, I apologize. I hope I got everyone from the non-hoop ball realm. And, of course, a huge thank you to the hoop ballers, the pros and the loyal listeners, both. The pros for coming on the show. The great Aaron Bruschi, of course, Hoop Ball's founder, El Arquitecto. My good friend Micah Patria, who's been on the show many, many times talking DFS this year. The guys over at the Box Score Breakdown, Neil Rochlani, Adrian Benjamins, and, of course, the pros on our nightly podcast. The list goes on and on. Hank, Aaron, Brandon Marcus, Josh Millman, Surio, my guy Surio, JC De Leon, Riaz, Eric. Amazing group. Love these guys. And the listeners. I mean, you guys, the Hoop Ball loyal followers, you guys are amazing. But listeners all together, I'm going to lump you all into one big clump. Incredible this year. I don't talk much about the listenership numbers and what they do. I think I get into that a little bit near the start of the year just because that's the boom where I can't take my eyes off the insane numbers. But this was, without question, the largest year we've ever had on this show. And when I say we've ever had, I mean this is the second full season, actually, third partial year, if you put it all together, that we've actually had this podcast going. So the fact that it's been able to grow at this unbelievable rate has been just crazy. You know, like looking at some of the numbers that you guys gave us, it is mind-boggling the jumps that have been taken in this show. The fact that, you know, looking at some of the recent episodes of this podcast, and we're talking about like the last couple weeks of the NBA season, the listenership, when I go back and compare it to what it was around the same time the previous year, it's night and day. It's like 60% higher the last couple weeks of the regular season this year compared to last year. So hopefully a lot of you guys will stick with us during the offseason. We got a lot of really good stuff coming up to talk about. We've got the year in review, or we'll break down every single team from a fantasy perspective and a reality perspective. We've got playoff betting to talk about. That's going to be a big deal. I did an appearance with my good friend Gil Alexander on VSiN this morning. I think we're going to have to get Gil over here on the podcast. That's the only way to get this thing rolling come playoff time. We've got draft thoughts. The great Adrian Benjamin's big into the NBA draft. We got free agency. That'll be in July. I mean, literally before you know it, it's going to be season time again. So we got the whole offseason covered. You're going to be hearing from myself. You're going to be hearing from Ethan, Brandon, Neil, Adrian, Coach, Micah Patra. They're all going to be on the show with me this offseason. Many times without me this offseason because you've heard enough from me. Thank you to Aaron and Hoopball for making sure that we can actually get this show done every day. Thanks to the good guys over at Dash Radio on Nothing But Net channel for hosting us all season long. And thank you to Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company for becoming our very first audiovisual sponsor here at Hoopball, the title sponsor of all of our shows that will run continuously all season long. HawaiianIsles.com at HI Kona Coffee. Hawaiian Isles on Amazon. Just incredible to get linked up with such an amazing company and one that, is a partnership that just came together. You got to try all their stuff. They got the classic roasts. They got the Kona-flavored roasts, English toffee, macadamia cream, mocha, vanilla macadamia, chocolate macadamia, cappuccino, hazelnut, Irish cream. Those are all the Kona flavors. I know Brew's a big fan of the Sunrise. That's one of the classic flavors. They've got the vanilla macadamia over there as well. Classic is actually also a flavor. They've got the K-Cups, if you're into that sort of thing. Single-serve cups. You can order by size. You can order by grind. You can order by flavor. You can order by Kona or non-Kona. They've got single bags, best sellers, big bags, Kona Dark Private Reserves, decaf flavors. That might be the way I end up having to go, which feels like it defeats the purpose, but I love the smell. I don't even know if I would drink it. I would just put it on my desk and point a very soft blowing fan over the coffee right into my nose. Yeah, that's the smell, man. That nice, rich coffee scent without it doing any damage on my very finicky intestinal tract. Life as me is a hard one, guys. Pity me. That's all I ask of you on a day-to-day basis. Thank you to Libsyn for hosting our podcast. They've done a nice job of keeping everything rolling. Thank you to all of you guys that took the time to rate and review the show this year to push us up to 198 reviews. Podcasts that have been around for a decade don't have that many, and we've only done 2 full seasons. I will hammer you at the beginning of next year for more ratings and reviews, but for now, I'm going to leave you alone on all that stuff. And that's about it. I mean, the big one obviously goes out to the listeners more than anything else, those of you that have made this show so successful over the last couple of years. And I only hope we could return the favor by getting you guys some good fantasy moves, some good drafts, some good pickups, and get you into the money. Nothing here to sell at Hoopball for the next couple of months. We'll, of course, have the B150 and the draft guide coming out. That's usually in August. The draft guide, B150, comes out closer to the start of the season. We've got a calendar. We're ready to go. Everything is golden. And to get us ready for all that stuff, we got an off-season worth of podcasts coming up. So starting tomorrow, we'll begin our season in review. Yes, that's right. We only have one day today of shows where we don't go hard on fantasy stuff. Today's show is the Thank You to Everyone episode of Fantasy NBA Today. So, at the tail end here, I will say once again, for all of my amazing guests, for the great folks at Hoopball, for the listeners, for Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee, for the hosts, I am Dan Besbris. This is Fantasy NBA Today, and from the bottom of my heart, I say to you all, thank you. Thank you. Here's a brief pause, and then I follow that by saying, we're right back at it tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk tomorrow. Playoff betting also starting up on tomorrow's show. We'll get into series prices. It's going to be a wing-ding. I want to talk to Neil about that stuff. Neil Rochlani. He's getting big into the sports betting world. I've ruined that poor man. He may never forgive me, or he might thank me. I don't know. So, again, thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.